Hey Jordan.
Yes, Jim.
What has two thumbsticks and often confuses casual gamers? This guy. When they made their debut over 30 years ago, video game controllers were much simpler and relied more on enthusiasm than coordination to operate.
As video games became increasingly complicated, late adopters may have found themselves alienated and more apt to pick up a handheld or give up gaming altogether in favor of outdoor activities or interpersonal relationships. Weird, huh?
Enter motion gaming, a new genre of games where the player's movements propel the action. The gameplay is typically simpler and more intuitive, and more often than not requires the gamer to get off the couch and actually move around. The Nintendo Wii was the first to introduce motion gaming 4 years ago, but recently the PS3 and Xbox have come out with their own devices. So, what are the pros and cons of each system?
To find out, we wrangled a group of our friends, all with varying video game skills, to get their impressions.
First up, the Kinect for Xbox, which has the distinct honor of being the first hands-free gaming device to hit the market. The sensor bar is able to distinguish between two players and simultaneously scans their bodies, matching the action to on-screen avatars or interacting with the virtual environments in the game. As the tagline says, you are the controller. It's pretty easy to get right into a game, the menu system is very intuitive, and with no controller, there's no learning curve.
The sensor bar, which includes the game Kinect Adventures, costs a whopping $150. To put that in perspective, a pared down Xbox costs $200.
I'm a terrible video game player, so there is definitely some appeal to a game that doesn't involve memorizing a series of button presses.
Not having the controllers and having it be more the full body games actually makes it more of a social game.
I would love to use this with family, with people that have never played games, people that just come over and just want to do something casually.
For a grandma that doesn't know that metaphor for controlling your guy, I can understand why the motion graphics would be so transformative, but for me, it was actually a little bit confusing.
The PlayStation Move came out a couple of months before the Kinect, and while it still relies on a physical controller, it's nowhere near as complicated as the one that comes with the PlayStation 3 system. The motion controller is a wand with a big LED bulb and some buttons. Used with the PlayStation's eye camera, the Move tracks up to 4 players simultaneously.
As far as software goes, you will see a few of the cherubic fantasy animals you associate with other motion games, but so far the Move has more options with hardcore gamers in mind, with titles that wouldn't look out of place at an event featuring a beer bong.
For $100, you can get the eye camera, motion controller, and the Sports Champions game. But if you don't already own a PS3, that's another $300.
As somebody who never really plays video games, my favorite was that Gladiator game, because really all I did was hold a thing and go like this. And I won.
I think I prefer the Move. I think the Kinect was a little bit clunky.
The Move seemed to reward like full body swinging.
I had trouble with the disconnect between the action and what was happening on the screen. I think maybe it's the lack of tactile feedback. Hey!
Finally, the system that started it all, the Nintendo Wii. It was a hit because it appealed to all ages and levels of gameplay experience, with easy-to-use controllers and lovable characters like Mario and Donkey Kong that are even recognizable to the non-geek community.
Similar to the Move, the Wii is controlled via the Wiimote, and for certain gameplay, the secondary attachment known as the Nunchuck.
Price-wise, every console comes packaged with the necessary motion peripherals and Wii Sports games for $200.
When I picked up the Wii controller for the very first time, turned on the Wii and interacted with it, there was a connection there and kind of a euphoric kind of what is happening.
You have a pretty decent sense of control, but the controller seems like it never wants you to do much. Like throwing a football is that.
I think the strength of the Wii came in focusing on joy versus both visual and technical excellence. Like the sheer joy of playing those games is what they programmed, and they did a great job at it because that's exactly what you get from it. I think they know what their purpose is, and they execute it in a way that these two other systems did not.
I am a motion gamer. I've had a Wii since the Wii came out. If I was going to rate each console based on their motion control capabilities, it would definitely have to be Xbox Kinect 1, with Wii a close second just because they were the forerunners of this gaming aspect. And then Sony, PlayStation Move, I'm sorry, but you're third.
Kinect is unique, it's newish, and it seems like it might be interesting. I find it much more immersive to control something that I feel like I am controlling, and I know it's a tool, but we're kind of designed to work with tools.
I have to admit that when people come over, I'm probably going to stick with Scrabble.
You have the cardigan for it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Obviously, our sample today was a little bit biased. We didn't have any kids, any old people. Everybody we talked to today had a controller in their hands at some point during their childhood.
So while people responded to the motion in the gaming, also having something in their hands made them feel that they were somewhat more in control of the game.
Yes, so game companies, if you can combine a little bit of this with a little bit of this,
You're going to make a lot of this.